AI manipulation in games refers to the player's ability to influence an NPC's behavior. And when we're talking about stealth games or simply stealth in games, it refers to the ways the player can force an NPC to move so they can complete their objectives. In stealth games, you would expect a plethora of tools that aid in AI manipulation. Noisemakers, smoke bombs, decoys, whistles, illusions, and a bunch more, with varying effects depending on the game. But in open-world RPGs like Skyrim or Fallout, you wouldn't expect there to be more than a couple of tools or systems that help in AI manipulation. Mainly because stealth is more often a gimmick rather than a fleshed-out focused mechanic. However, in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, there are actually 4 ways to manipulate AI while you are sneaking. So let me tell you about them. First are throwing rocks. This is the main way that Henry can manipulate or distract NPCs. I'm dubbing it the main way simply because the game showcased it during the tutorial, so Warhorse probably wanted everyone to know about this stealth mechanic. Anyway, throwing rocks function as Henry's noise makers. The way it works is that you crouch, aim where you want Henry to throw the rock, and then press the corresponding button to throw, which on PC is G. You can perform this anywhere, even indoors, which would mean that Henry may be keeping rocks in his pockets. But anyway, when an NPC hears the rock, they will start to get suspicious and start to investigate. They will walk towards the rock and look around for a couple of seconds. From experience, there are times that NPCs investigate for more than 15 seconds or something, while sometimes they stop investigating after 10 seconds. Regardless, if you are close enough to throw a rock that they can hear, it is safe to also assume that you are close enough that you can sneak up behind them before they turn back. There should be enough time for you to either perform a stealth takedown or simply sneak past them, if you are the merciful type. It is also important to note that you can repeatedly distract an NPC by throwing rocks every few seconds, basically stun locking them. Though after a few hours and investigations, they may decide to walk back to their position. If they don't see you though, you can just throw more rocks after they return. As long as they do not see you, you should be able to keep on distracting them. Oh, and one more thing, you can distract multiple guards with different rocks at the same time. Basically, only one NPC will investigate a rock. However, if you throw another rock to an idle NPC, they will also get distracted. This is regardless if there is already an NPC who is investigating another rock. So technically, there shouldn't be any limit to how many NPC you can distract with rocks at the same time. But the drawback with distracting multiple NPCs is they can often become more unpredictable. One guard may return a couple of seconds earlier than you anticipate, and the next thing you know is that everyone knows where you are. So I do recommend trying to limit the NPC that you will distract to a manageable number. Next is the whistle. The whistle is simply Henry whistling to catch the attention of an NPC. Now it is important to know that Henry has 3 types of whistle. One is when you're standing up and press the whistle button. This will call the horse and also get the attention of NPCs. However, it is very loud so NPCs can pinpoint your location immediately. The second whistle works by holding the whistle button. This version will call Mutt, Henry's dog. So it's not really that useful for anything else. Then there's the third whistle which you perform by crouching and pressing the whistle button. Henry will then do a subtle whistle, though sometimes it's just a tongue flick.
Huh? Nothing, I suppose. What's that? What?
This whistle will catch the attention of one NPC who will then start walking towards the source. Since Henry doesn't have a stealth takedown when an enemy is facing him, you will want to relocate after using the whistle. Because of this, the whistle is somewhat of a situational tool. It is best used if you are in an area where there are a lot of hiding spots, like a castle with multiple exits per room or in a forest area with lots of trees and bushes to act as cover. However, since Henry also has other distraction tools at his disposal, throwing rocks can be a good way to control a guard's position after whistling. For example, as they are walking towards Henry, you can throw a rock beside or behind them to make them stop. But to be honest, I rarely use the whistle during my playthroughs since it just felt too risky using it when I had the throwing rocks. Still, it's a nice addition to Henry's stealth arsenal and there is a use for it if you really want to utilize the mechanic. Next, let's talk about Mutt's Bark. Once you reach level 12 of the Hound Master skill, you can unlock the Bark perk. This perk allows you to give Mutt the command to distract NPCs. Mutt will bark on the spot where you issue the command, which will grab the attention of nearby NPCs. Those NPCs will approach Mutt and will try to shoo him away. It is important to note that once the NPCs approach, Mutt may immediately run away, which would prompt the NPCs to return to their posts. So if you want to take down those NPCs, it would be better to throw rocks after they approach Mutt to give you more time to close the gap. Alternatively, you can also command Mutt to start barking even though he is far from enemies. Then use rocks or a whistle to lure an enemy closer so they start approaching Mutt. Then take them out once they are isolated from their group. Basically, you can treat Mutt's bark as a distraction with a bigger area of effect, while throwing rocks is more of a distraction with a very small effectivity radius. Additionally, it is also possible to use Mutt to infiltrate houses. When you ask him to bark outside of a house, one of the people inside will go out and shoo Mutt away. This can give you the opportunity to sneak into a house or store and take what you need. However, since the timing is short, you'll have to be pretty quick. What's more, if there is a guard inside, which is the case for most stores, you might not be able to steal anything at all. And so yeah, while it is possible to infiltrate houses with the help of Mutt, there might be only a couple of situations where it is viable and worth the trouble and risk.
Hey, get out of here before I slice you to ribbons! Intruder!
Another way to manipulate AI behavior is by making them suspicious by showing yourself and opening doors. So when NPCs spot Henry, they won't immediately become hostile. Sometimes, they will first try to approach Henry and shoo him away. During this time, it is possible to force an NPC to move to a position by simply luring them away while they chase you. Though I have to admit that this is very situational. I think this is most effective if you want to take out one enemy who is in a group. For example, if you're trying to take out a bandit camp, you can lure the patrol away, and when he is walking back, you can then try to choke him out. Do note also that some enemies will immediately be aggressive towards Henry after they spot him. When this happens, you will have no time to lure those enemies and will end up engaging in combat. So this trick is really pretty niche. Additionally, I also want to mention opening doors as a distraction. You see, in KCD2, NPCs are very wary about their doors at home. They remember if they left it open or closed. So when you open a door, especially in private areas, NPCs will start investigating. Initially, they will first run to their personal chest to ensure that nothing has been stolen. And so during this time, their behavior is predictable. You know that once they see the open door, they will run to their chest. This should give you the opportunity to either sneak past them or knock them out. As a bonus, I also want to quickly talk about waiting for nighttime. I'm adding this simply because it is such a useful tip with regards to NPC behavior. So during nighttime, most NPCs will be sleeping. This means that houses will be unguarded save for 1 or 2 guards, and a few guard dogs. For human guards, simply use the other tools I mentioned to deal with them. For guard dogs, having some meat offerings to quiet them down is the most effective method. But essentially, doing stealth missions at nighttime is the best way to remain undetected. Unless of course the mission cannot be done during the night, which in that case you'll have to utilize the other ways to manipulate AI in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.